Welcome everybody to our weekly webinar. It's the newest installment of our new user series. Today is August 16th, 2023, and we're going to be talking about managing healthy habits with JMC's health module. I'm Rachel Cox. I'm on the training team here at JMC. I come to JMC with just about 15 years of educational experience. About a decade of those years were in the classroom, and then I transitioned into elementary administration, where I worked very closely with our school nurse. So I'm familiar with this health module. I love all the functionality that it offers. So let's dig right in. The health module in JMC Office gives your district the ability to keep track of various types of health data, such as immunizations, health history, and visit logs, and also works in conjunction with JMC Teacher and JMC Family in making appropriate health information available to teachers and families. Import immunization records directly from state registries, run compliance checks, and even collect custom health-related questions during yearly family online registration. Keep your student health records complete and up to date, including immunization records, medications, visit logs, and everything in between. Here's what we'll cover today: immunizations, medical emergency plans, medication log, visit log, health history, health note, health custom fields, and printing health records. Please hold all of your questions until the Q&A session at the end of each section. If you do need to communicate with the host, feel free to use the Q&A chat feature in your webinar toolbar. So if questions come up, go ahead and type them in that Q&A feature, and I'll get to them in between each section. We'll start with immunizations. Entering those student immunizations. Health professionals can efficiently manage student health records, including immunization history in JMC. They can create immunization records by selecting vaccinations from a predefined list and adding administration details like dosage, validity, and comments. Editing student immunization information in JMC ensures compliance with state laws and contributes to maintaining the health and safety of students. To edit a student's immunization data, go to Health, Immunizations, Edit Student Immunizations. Step 1, select the student to be edited by entering their name in the Find field. Step 2, click the Add Row link to enter an immunization record for the selected student. Step 3, select the appropriate vaccine from the immunization drop-down list to indicate that the selected student has received an immunization. Enter a day in the date field or simply click the calendar icon to indicate when the immunization was administered. Step 5 is optional. You can select the appropriate exemption status from the exemption drop-down list if the selected student is exempt from receiving a vaccine. Step 6, select the appropriate amount from the dosage drop-down list to indicate the level of vaccine the student has received. For example, if it's a full dose, a double dose, partial, something like that, you can enter that there. Step 7, place a check mark in the Administered at School checkbox to note that the vaccine was issued at school. So if your school hosts like a flu shot clinic or something, you can check that Administered at School checkbox. Step 8, again, an optional step, keep track of any additional immunization information by entering comments in the source comments field to maintain complete student records. Helpful tip: to mark an immunization as invalid for compliance purposes, simply remove the check mark from the immunization is valid checkbox, indicating that the student has received an invalid immunization. Step 9, click the update link to save the immunization record or click the cancel link to discard your changes. Helpful tip: need to edit an already existing record, click the edit link to edit fields within the entry or click the delete link to remove the immunization record. Step 10, click the print button to save a PDF or print a copy of the selected student's immunization records, or click the export button to generate a CSV file of the selected student's immunization records. You can also import immunizations. The health module in JMC Office provides a convenient solution for tracking student immunizations. Health professionals can import immunization records directly from a state database or enter them manually, and then run reports in the health module to keep students healthy and safe and to maintain compliance with state regulations. For state-specific instructions for importing immunization, you can check out these articles. So those are live links there. So you'll get an email at the conclusion of this webinar, and it will include a link to the YouTube recording of this webinar. In the description of the YouTube video, you'll have a PDF of these slides. You can go right to these slides, you can click on your state, and you can get those state-specific instructions for importing your student immunizations. So now we can take a live look at entering those student immunizations. All right, so I'm going to start by logging into JMC Office, and I'm going to come down to Health, Immunizations, Edit Student Immunizations. So the first thing you need to do is find the student whose immunization records you need to update. If you're adding a new immunization, click on this Add Row link, and you'll notice here you get all the immunizations you could need in this nice drop-down box here. So we're going to put a chickenpox vaccination, the date. So today's date will automatically populate, but if you need to change that date, you can click on the calendar or simply type it in. If this was a student who had exemption paperwork on file, you could choose the exemption reason, or you can come down and change the dosage if you need to. If it was administered at school, you can check here, and then any comments that you might need to enter. Once you hit update, it now shows up on the student's immunization list. Pretty simple. All right, do we have any questions about entering a student immunization? All right, taking a look at our Q&A, our chat feature here, I don't see any questions, so we'll just keep on moving ahead. Next, we'll talk about medical emergency plans. Creating student medical emergency plans becomes effortless with JMC Office's feature, allowing health professionals to create, edit, import, and share detailed medical emergency plans with teachers. By entering relevant health information, attaching documents, and enabling access for teachers, accurate and comprehensive student medical emergency plans can be maintained, ensuring optimal outcomes in case of a medical emergency. To get started creating a medical emergency plan for a student, head to Health, Medical Emergency Plan, Edit Student Medical Emergency Plan. Enter a student's name in the Find field to begin creating a medical emergency plan for the selected student. Step 2, click the Import from Prior Year button to populate the medical emergency plan text box with the student's medical emergency plan from the previous year. So this is a wonderful time-saving tool here. You don't have to start from scratch each year. If you've got a student who has a bee sting allergy or something like that that's going to follow them year after year, you can import that medical emergency plan rather than starting from scratch. Step 3, enter the student's medical emergency plan in the text box provided to communicate pertinent health information about the student. Helpful tip, you can add a little pizzazz to your student's emergency plan by using the formatting tools. Step 4, click the Add Record link to upload and attach documents containing detailed emergency medical care instructions for an even more comprehensive medical emergency plan for the student. Step 5, place a check mark in the Share with Teachers checkbox to allow teachers to view the medical emergency plan in JMC Teacher. And this is an important one. You do want to share these medical emergency plans with the teachers so that those students can be safe in the classroom. Teachers know how to handle an emergency if it should come up. So you want to make sure you share that information with the teachers where it's appropriate. Step 6, click the Save button to update the medical emergency plan. Helpful tip, select a date from the revisions drop-down list to view previous versions of the emergency plan. So I'll show you a live look at medical emergency plans. So again, in JMC Office, we come down to Health and then Medical Emergency Plan, Edit Student Medical Emergency Plan. So selecting the student who you want to create or edit an emergency medical plan for, and I've got my student selected here, I can go ahead and start typing in a message or an emergency medical plan. So here I'm going to say that Jenny has a peanut allergy. And you can see down below here, I can also add documents if I want to. So if Jenny has an EpiPen that goes along with this peanut allergy, and we have maybe an information sheet on that EpiPen, I can add a record here and I can include that PDF along with the medical emergency plan. So once I've typed what I want, I can go ahead and share it with my teachers, and then I'm going to click save. All right, and it's time for questions. Does anybody have any questions about student medical emergency plans? I don't see any questions coming in. We'll keep on moving forward. We will move on to the medication log next. We'll talk about adding student medications. In JMC's health module, managing student medications is streamlined and effective. Health professionals can easily add or edit a student's medication list, ensuring accurate recording and administration. Detailed information such as medication details, dosage, and instructions can be entered, enabling tracking of medication usage, monitoring of supply levels, and generating reports as needed. Additionally, features like low inventory, notifications, and the ability to print or export the medication list provide convenience and accessibility. To add or edit a medication record, go to Health, Medication Log, Edit Student Medication, and select the Medications tab. Step 1, enter a student's name in the Find field to begin adding or editing the list of medications for the selected student. Helpful tip, place a check mark in the Display Optional Fields checkbox to enable and track additional medication fields such as the pharmacy name, a prescribing doctor name, or a prescription number. Step 2, click the Add Row button to add a new medication for the student. Step 3, click the Edit button to enable editing of the medication information. Step 4, select the medication using the medication drop-down list to assign a medication to the student. And you'll notice here, and we'll see this as we get into the live look, once you start typing in a medication in this line, you get a very long list of FDA approved medications. So you just need to look through that list and choose the right medication for what it is that's been submitted to the health office. Step 5, you can enter the medication form in the form field to indicate what type of medication the student is taking, such as capsules or liquid. Next, place a check mark in the notification threshold enabled checkbox if you would like to be notified of when a student's medication inventory is getting low. Step 7, enter quantity in the notification threshold field to receive a notification when inventory drops below that specified quantity. Step 8, enter a date in the date submitted field or simply click the calendar icon to indicate when the medication was submitted to the office. Place a check mark in the as needed PRN checkbox if this medication should only be administered as needed. So you would check that box if it's not a medication taken every day, just something on hand as needed. Place a check mark in the student no longer taking this medication checkbox when a student no longer takes the prescribed medication. Next, you'd want to enter any notes in the comments field to track additional information for future reference. Then click the update button to save the medication information for this student, or click the cancel button to discard your changes. Step 12, click the print button on the medications tab to print a list of medication records for the currently displayed student, or click the export button to export the list of medication records as a CSV file. So I'll show you a live look at adding or editing a student's medication. So once again, we're in JMC Office, Health, Medication Log, Edit Student Medications. So selecting the right student, you want to make sure you choose the right student from the Find field. All right. Here we go. I've selected a new student here. I'm on my Medications tab, and I'm going to click Add Row. So now I have a new row. It hasn't been specified yet, so I go ahead and hit Edit. And I'm going to start typing in a medication. And this is what I was talking about. We get all of these FDA approved medications once we start typing in the name of the medication. So you would just have to look at your bottle that was given to you and find the right entry here. You can go ahead and click on it. You can enter a form if you want to. If you want to be notified when the student gets below a certain number of doses. So let's say we want to be notified when we have 10 doses left. The date that it was submitted to the office, 8/16. If this is something that's only taken as needed, I can place a check mark right here. I can enter any comments that might be helpful in the comment box, and then I can go ahead and click update to save that medication for that student. Any questions about entering a medication for a student? All right, I don't see any questions coming in. We're going to keep on moving. Next, we'll talk about defining medications. JMC's health module simplifies the process of logging medications by offering a comprehensive list of FDA-approved medications, as well as the ability to define and add user-defined medications such as throat lozenges or homeopathic remedies. This ensures that medications can be easily administered in the health office to cater to the specific needs of students. Log into JMC Office, select Health, Medication Log, define medications to add or edit user-defined medications. Step 1, click the Add Record link to enter a new user-defined medication, or click the Edit link to edit an existing user-defined medication. Next, enter a name for the medication in the name field to define your newly added medication. Enter a strength for the medication in the strength field, which is an optional step. If you want to include that, you can. The next step is to click the update link to add or update your changes to the medication, or you can click the cancel link to discard those changes. Helpful tip, if you'd like to delete a user-defined medication from the log, click the delete link to permanently remove it. I can show you a live look at defining medications. So once again, from JMC Office, from our homepage, we're going to come to Health, Medication Log, Define medications. And here is a list of user defined, meaning our school has defined these medications, given them a name, and you can add a record to create a new medication, or you can edit a record. So I have sunscreen here. Maybe I'm going to make this 35 instead. Once I update it, now this becomes a medication option. So when I'm adding those medications to students, like we did in the last step, these are now medications that I can add in addition to that long list of FDA-approved medications. Any questions on defining medications? It doesn't look like it, so we'll just keep on rolling. Recording medication inventory. Managing a student's medication inventory in JMC Office is an easy and efficient way to keep detailed records of medications stored and administered at school. Health and office professionals can easily update the number of medication doses in a student's medication inventory, keeping an accurate count of the medications on hand. Log quantities of medications as they're submitted to the health office and print a list of the medication inventory changes all from one place. Go to Health, Medication Log, edit student medication in JMC Office to begin logging the medication quantities. So this is where we were at before when we were entering a student's medication. We come to Medication Log, edit student medications. This time we just scooch over a tab. So we were on medications before, and now we're on that inventory tab. So once again, you want to find the right student to add the medication inventory to their medication log. Then we want to click the Submit Medication button to record the quantity of a medication in stock. If you need to make any changes to an existing inventory record, click the Edit link. If you wish to remove an inventory record, click the Delete link. Fun fact, by default, the date and time fields will automatically be filled with the current date and time when the medication is received by the school office. However, if necessary, you can make adjustments to the date and time by typing them in, or you can click on that calendar icon. Step 4, select the medication from the medication drop-down list to update its inventory quantity. So if a student has more than one medication, you want to select the correct one. Fun fact, only those medications associated with the student will show up there. So that first step that we did in adding a medication to a student, that has to be done first before you can put any inventory on that student's medication log. Step 5, enter a number in the quantity field to reflect the number of doses added to the student's medication inventory. Helpful tip, enter additional comments in the comment field to provide more information about the specific inventory adjustments, such as who delivered it to the health office. Next, you're going to click the OK button to update the medication inventory, or click the Close button to discard your changes. Another helpful tip, to customize the display of medication inventory, you can select your preferred options from the Sort Options and View Options drop-down lists. Next, click the Print button to print a copy of the medication inventory change records for the currently displayed student, or click the Export button to export the list as a CSV file. So let's take a look at recording medication inventory. So from our health module, we're going to come to medication log, edit student medications. So I have my student here that we added medications for, and now I'm just going to move over to the inventory tab. I'm going to submit medication. So you can see today's date and the current time populate by default. I have to choose which medication I want to add inventory. This student has 2, so I want to make sure I choose the correct one. And I'm going to say that I received 20 doses of this medication. If I wanted to make an additional comment, I can, and then I'm going to click OK. Once I do that, I see my inventory list automatically update. So now I've got 20 on hand and 20 are remaining. 20 were checked in, 20 are remaining because I haven't given out any doses yet. Any questions on recording medication inventory? If not, we will move on to entering medication appointments. And this is a wonderful feature, super helpful, a great way for managing, distributing meds in the school's health office. Scheduling recurring medication appointments in JMC Office is the simple solution for students who take regular medications at school. Once students have recurring medication appointments scheduled, health and office professionals can easily preview or print a list of medication appointments for a day, log the date and time the medication was administered, and even record if a student misses a dose. Improve communication and keep your kiddo safe and healthy by scheduling recurring appointments in JMC. In JMC Office, go to Health, Medication Log, Edit Student Medications, then click the Appointments tab to schedule recurring appointments. So we're still in that Edit Student Medications area here from our menu tree, and now we're moving over to the next tab, which is Appointments. So you want to make sure that you have the right student selected by finding them in the Find field and then clicking Add a Row to start scheduling a recurring appointment. Click the Edit button to change any appointment information if you need to. Step 4, select an option from the medication drop-down list to indicate the medication that will be administered during this appointment. Step 5, enter the date of the first appointment in the Start Date field, or simply click the calendar icon to schedule the appointment. Step 6, enter the time in the time field to specify the time that the medication will be administered throughout the day. Step 7, enter an amount in the dosage field to indicate the quantity of medication the student is to receive at each appointment. Enter the date of the last appointment in the end date field, or simply click the calendar icon to specify when the medication will no longer be administered. Step 9, select one of the following radio buttons in the recurrence box to indicate how often the appointment will recur. So is it a daily appointment? Is it just one time? Is it weekly? So determine how frequently the student should be getting their medication. And then you go ahead and click the update button to save that appointment, or you can click the cancel button to discard it. We'll take a live look at entering medication appointments. All right, so from our homepage, we'll come to Health, Medication Log, Edit Student Medications. And now again, we're on that third tab. We're on the Appointments tab. So I'm going to add a row. And I'm going to edit. And now I already have medication appointment for that Tylenol. I'm going to make a medication appointment for my other medication here, my Advil. The start date, they can start taking this medication today, and I'm going to put in a more accurate time. We'll do 12 p.m. They'll get 1 dose when they come to the office. And when do I want this to end? Well, maybe I want it to end at the end of the school year. And this student is going to get this medication daily, every weekday. I'm going to go ahead and click Update. And now the student has a daily appointment. Oh, sorry, it's this one up here, has a daily appointment to come to the health office to take their Advil. All right, are there any questions on entering medication appointments? It doesn't look like it. We will move on to recording administered medications for a day. So that first step is setting up the appointment. And now we're going to talk about how you administer the meds that are in that medication appointment. With the health module in JMC Office, it's easy to keep tabs on student medications administered throughout the day by scheduling and documenting daily medication appointments. This tool allows you to see a list of students taking medications each day, and then from the same page, log the time the medication was given or note the reason a dose was skipped. Tracking medication appointments in this way ensures accurate medication inventory and detailed administration records. Enter medication appointment for a day in JMC by going to Health, Medication Log, Medication Appointments for a day. Step 1, select a day from the day drop-down list to view a list of students with the scheduled medication appointments for the day. So once you select that date, you get a list of all the students in your school who need medications on that day. Helpful tip, you can select a 12-hour, 24-hour, or military time from the time format drop-down list to change the time format used. You can mark the med as administered. So it's really simple. You just go ahead and click that green check mark corresponding to the student's medication record to log the time the medication was dispensed. So as soon as you click that green check mark, the time is recorded, and then it goes in that administered box. It automatically says that it was administered. You can enter the time listed in the administered column if it's dispensed at a different time than when you actually got into the system to log it. So, maybe you gave out the medication but weren't next to your computer, so you just need to go back and update that time. So you can change it. The time you click the check mark, the check mark will automatically load for you, but you can change it if necessary. Fun fact, administering medication automatically updates the remaining quantity in the student's inventory, while missing appointment doses does not affect that inventory. Step 4, and this is optional, you can select a reason from the appointment drop-down list to document why a student did not take a medication that day, such as an absence or no inventory, and this will just ensure precise medication records. Step 5, click the print medication appointments for a day button to create a copy for your reference when you're away from your computer. We can take a live look at recording administered medications for the day. So again, coming to health, medication log, we're going to come down here to medication appointments for a day. So you can see Wednesday, the 16th of August, I have this many students coming in for their medication appointments. Some have already been administered. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go ahead and click my green check mark. And you'll see that now my appointment is listed as administered and the time is the current time that I check that green check mark. I can change that time if necessary, but that'll preload for you. It's really convenient. The other thing that I can do is if a student is absent for the day and not taking a dose, I can say absent. If they took it at home that morning instead, I can mark that as well, just to have accurate records. But checking that green check mark will automatically update that inventory as well. So I can show you that really quick here. I have 49 doses of this medication. As soon as I click this green check mark, I'm down to 48. So it's really handy. It keeps accurate records for you. And I can see here if there are any questions. It does look like we have a question about adding a twice a day medication. So let's go back into our student medications. And if I'm adding an appointment, I'm going to go ahead and edit this appointment here. We'll take a look. So if I have daily, every weekday, I don't see a way to add a twice daily. You could just come in here and add a row and put in another medication appointment and then just put in a different time. So say they needed it at 10 in the morning. I could make this one be 10 a.m. I can update that. And then I would just add another row here. And I would select my medication. And then for the time, then they would maybe come back at 1:30 p.m. And that would be where they would get that second dose. So that would be a way to add a medication for a student to take it 2 times a day. Oh, it's an invalid date for the school year. Maybe because I didn't select. an end date. There we go. So make sure you add that end date, otherwise it'll give you that invalid date pop-up. Are there any other questions about medication appointments? I don't see any. I hope that answered your question, Megan. All right, we will keep moving on. And now we'll talk about the visit log. Customizing visit log reasons. There are several predefined reasons to choose from when a student visits the health office. Need to create your own reason for a health office visit? The visit log reason feature allows you to add your own reason and to maintain the ability to keep an accurate student health record. So let's add a user-defined visit log reason to keep a detailed record of the health office visit. You can head to Health, visit log reasons to add a custom reason. Step 1, click the add record link to add a new reason to the list, or click the edit link beside a reason to edit an existing user-defined list. So when you get in here under the visit log and the visit log reasons, you'll see the top box here are all the predefined visit log reasons. So these are already in JMC. They've been put in there for you. I would highly recommend looking through this visit log reasons list prior to adding your own reasons, because something might already be up here. So save yourself the time of putting something in there twice. Read through that before you start putting in your own. But then if you do need a custom reason, then you just come down to this user-defined visit log reasons and click that add record link. You can click the delete link to delete an existing visit log reason that you're no longer tracking. Step 2, enter the new visit log reason in the name field to add your reason to the list. Then click the save link to save your reason to the list, or click the cancel link to discard your changes. Once you've defined a new reason, it will be available on any visit log page, including the edit student visit log or the visit log query to track the reason for the visit. Step 4, click the print button to print a list of reasons for easy reference. Let's take a live look at customizing visit log reasons. So from the home page, we'll come down to health. I'm going to collapse this menu. We're going to go to visit log and visit log reasons. So like I said, up above, we've got those predefined log reasons. There's a lot of them there. And then you can add your own if you want to. If I wanted to add a record, I could just type in any reason that I wanted there. I could say fever 99.9. And then I can save that. And now I've got that custom reason right there. Are there any questions on customizing visit log reasons? It doesn't look like it. So we will move on to customizing those visit log actions. So the action you take in the health office as a result of a student coming in. In JMC's health module, health professionals have the ability to add or edit custom visit log actions to accurately document and track the medical needs and treatments provided by the health office. This customization allows for precise and comprehensive record keeping, ensuring that all health office actions are accurately defined and documented. With the ability to add, edit, and delete custom visit log actions, health professionals can maintain a reliable reference of the medical care provided, providing a thorough and organized record for future reference and inquiries. So to add a user-defined visit log action, you head to health, visit log actions. Click the add record link to add a new action to the user-defined visit log actions list, or click the edit link beside the desired action to edit an existing user-defined action. And this is the same with actions as it is for reasons. You have a nice long predefined list of actions. So go ahead and read through that before you put in your own user-defined actions, because what you want might already be up there. Step 2, enter the new visit log action name in the name field to add your action to the list. Step 3, click the save link to save your action to the list, or click the cancel link to discard your changes. Step 4, click the print button to print a list of user-defined visit log actions for easy reference. Fun fact, once the user has defined a new action, it will be available for use on the Edit Student Visit Log page as a treatment option in the health office. To delete an existing user-defined visit log action, simply click the delete link associated with the action you wish to remove. So let's take a live look at customizing the visit log actions, and you'll see it's almost identical to those visit log reasons. So in the same spot here, health, visit log, we're going to come down to visit log actions, and the two screens look very similar. So you've got that predefined list at the top. It's a nice long list. And then you can come down here and add any specific user-defined visit log actions that are specific to your school that might not be up in this list. So you would just click here to add a new record. If you just wanted to edit one that's already there, click the edit button, change this to 15 minutes maybe, and then I'm going to go ahead and click update. And now I've saved that change. So it's pretty straightforward there. Are there any questions about customizing your visit log actions? If not, we'll keep on moving. We're going to talk about recording student health visits in the visit log. With JMC's health module, the student health visit log becomes an efficient tool for tracking and documenting student visits to the health office. From minor scrapes to headaches, you can record the date, time, reason for the visit, actions taken, and any supporting documents. The log also allows for additional care information, ensuring comprehensive records for effective communication with families. To enter or edit a health visit record in the student visit log, start in JMC Office and navigate to Health, Visit Log, Edit Student Visit Log. First step, enter a student's name in the Find field to easily access and manage health visit records for that selected student. Then click the Add New link to add a new visit to the visit log, or if you want to edit an existing visit, select the visit from the list of visits and click the Edit link to make the necessary changes to the health visit log record. Helpful tip, customize how the health visits are displayed with the sort order and sort and school year drop-down lists, as well as enable the display deleted records checkbox to include deleted records in the display. Step 3, enter the date in the date field to record the date of the health visit. But just like the other fields, the other date and time fields that we have in the health module, the current date and the current time are going to default for you. Step 5, enter a name in the referred by field to indicate the person who referred the student to the health office. So if it was a classroom teacher, or if it was a cafeteria aide or something like that, whoever it was that referred that student down to the health office, go ahead and put that name in there. And then you have this seen by field. It's going to automatically populate with the name of the person who entered the health visit. So whoever is logged into JMC and then puts in this new health visit, their name's going to populate there. You can change that name though if you need to. Step 7, select the reasons for the visit and actions taken by choosing from the respective list. You can use the control or the command key to select multiple options if that's necessary. Step 8, you can provide additional information regarding the reason for the visit or actions taken. Right over here, you have a box for additional reason info and then a box for additional action info if you need to add some more details there. Step 9, you can enter an additional comment in the comments box to log any important details about that visit. Click the Upload Files button to select a file from your computer to upload and attach to the visit log if that's necessary. And then step 11, click the Add File button to upload it and attach it to the health visit record, or you can remove the pending file by clicking the Clear Pending Files button. Step 12, click the Update link to save any changes made to the health visit log record, or click the Cancel link to discard the changes. Next, you can click the Print button to print the selected health visit log entry for convenient reference. So let's take a live look at recording student health visits. And this is kind of the bulk of what you do in the health office. So we're in health here. We're going to come down to visit log and we're going to edit student visit log. So I have a student selected. This student does have some visits from this year. So we've got a visit here and a visit here. I can edit an existing visit on this list of visits, or if I need to add a new visit, I go ahead and click Add New. And like I said, today's date and the current time will automatically populate. I can type in who referred this student, but it's not a mandatory field. I can put the reason that they came in. I can add additional information if I want to. And like we said, you can add more than one reason by just holding Control or Command. And then I come down and select an action, how it is that I treated this student in the health office. So maybe cot rest for 15 minutes. And I can say that this is Abby's third headache this month. So that might be something we'd want to follow up on with parents and just say, hey, we're kind of noticing a trend. Since I did recommend cot rest, maybe when the student leaves the health office, it's a good idea to put the time that they were out, just in case you have some students who are a little bit pokey at getting back to the classroom. You can let the teacher know, well, this is what time they left the health office. If I had files that I needed to attach, I could choose the file from my computer and then go ahead and add it to this record. Once I have all the information that I want on this visit record, I go ahead and hit update to save it. And now it shows up in my list of visits, and it can be edited if I needed to, or deleted as well. All right, oops. Meant to go back to my presentation. Are there any questions on entering student health visits? Looks like we do have one. Can I upload an immunization record into JMC, or do I need to put them in one at a time? So that's a question from Barbara, and you can upload immunization records. That was kind of toward the beginning of the presentation. So we do have information that's specific to each state about how to upload those immunization records kind of in bulk for your students. If you just have one student and it's only one immunization that you're updating, you can do that student by student, but you can import those immunization records. You'll just want to look for those state specific instructions, and you can get those from the PDF of the slides that will be emailed out at the end of the webinar. All right, it doesn't look like there are any additional questions at this time, so we'll keep on moving. We will talk about running a visit log query report. You need a summary of students' health visits for a certain date range. By running a health visit log query, you will have the information you need neatly arranged in a report. You'll also get a summary of the number of visits for each log, reason, and action. In addition, you can print or export your data. Let's run a health visit log query to view the visits to the health office. Start in JMC Office and navigate to Health visit log query to run a health visit log query to view how many students' health visits occurred, including reasons and actions for those visits. Step 1, enter the from date and to date in the appropriate fields to specify the date range of the health visits you'd like to view, or simply click the calendar icon. Step 2, place a check mark in the include student list checkbox to view each student's record within a date range. Helpful tip, select how you'd like your health visit log query sorted by using the sort list by drop-down list. Step 3, place a check mark in the include summary checkbox to include a brief or expanded summary of the health visit log query. Helpful tip, select the level of detail for the health visit log summary using the summary options drop-down list. Step 4, place a check mark in the include inactive students checkbox to include students no longer active. Then you can click the preview button to view the health visit log query, and you can click print to print it if you want to. You can also export it. There's 3 different ways to organize that export. You can create an export by action, an export list by the actions, one by the reasons. So the action taken in the health office, the reason that the student visited, or you can create a student list export, which would just sort that by student. We can take a live look at running a visit log query report. So from health, visit log, and then we come to visit log query. So the from date and to date. So if I want to look at the course of a month, I have that information here, include my student list. I can figure out how I want to best sort that. I can include the summary. Do I want a brief summary or expanded? If I wanted to include inactive students, I could. I can hit preview. I can print my list, or I can export it in one of these 3 ways. Are there any questions on the visit log query? It doesn't appear to be, so we will keep moving on and we'll talk about health history next. Entering student health history for a group of students. This is a very handy tool. This was a tool that our school nurse loved, especially when it comes to those hearing and vision screenings that they do throughout the year. The health history screening feature in JMC Office allows for efficient bulk entry of health assessment information, saving time and ensuring comprehensive records for a group of students. By selecting a group based on grade, advisor, or course and section, health screening data can be entered for multiple students simultaneously. With options to fill down values and mark records as complete, managing health history assessments becomes streamlined and organized. Plus, you can easily print the list of assessment records for convenient reference. To conveniently bulk enter health assessment screening for a group of students, simply navigate to health history screening in JMC Office. You can filter students by selecting the desired group from the selection method dropdown list to enter health screening information for that specified group. Next, select the desired grade, advisor, or course and section from the corresponding dropdown list to begin entering health screening information for that selected group of students. Then you'll want to select the appropriate screening categories such as visual acuity, hearing screening, or physical exam in the category dropdown list. Helpful tip, you can quickly enter health assessment information for a group of students by using the master record row or the fill down button. So you've got this kind of in tan here, this master record row. Any information that you put in that master record row will fill down, and it makes entering this data really quick, really efficient. Step 4, place a check mark in the complete checkbox to manually mark a record as complete, or it will automatically be marked when there's enough data entered. Step 5, click Save to record the assessment information, ensuring that only the records marked as complete are saved. So if a student was absent for the day, you could mark them as incomplete, so only those complete records will save. Fun fact, a pop-up notification will indicate the number of students whose health history screening records have been updated, ensuring that the appropriate number of students' health records have been successfully updated. So if you know that you've got 18 fourth graders and you go ahead and hit save, you can quickly see like the number of records that were updated. And if those numbers match or are pretty close there, you've got a good idea that the correct number of records were updated. Step 6, click the print button to print the list of health history assessment records. We can take a live look at entering student health history for a group of students. All right, so in health, we come down to health history, and we're going to do our health history screening. So we want to determine how we want to sort our students. So I'm going to sort mine by grade. I'm going to choose my grade level. We'll do fourth grade. And I have this master record row that we talked about. So we have visual acuity is up here. We have a whole list of different health screenings. If I come to our hearing screening, we can see that that was recently updated, but we can go ahead and update it again today. If I enter something up here in my master row, you can see it fills down. So I'm going to go with left and hit pass. And we see pass comes down to every student, and same with right. I'm going to put that in there too. So if I have one student who maybe failed the screening, it's easier to just change that information for one student. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to type fail. And then I can save that information. All right. And so now I've saved that screening information. I can see the date that it was last completed, updates for me. I have all these complete records, and my information has saved here. Next, we're going to look at entering that health history information for a single student. Are there any questions before we move on about kind of bulk loading that screening information? I don't see any questions. So now we'll look at, if we had to go back for that student who failed, or if there was a student who was absent that day, we'll look at how to put in that screening information for a single student. So we'll enter student health history information for one student. Editing student health history is used to maintain individual health history records for students. Each health history record in JMC may contain the date, grade level, a check mark for flagging the record, and one or two other fields depending on the category. You can even attach documents to the student's health history to provide further information of the health records attached to the student. So you want to head to health history, edit student health history, and select the student to be edited by entering the student's name in the find field. Helpful tip, select a grade from the drop-down list to view records for just one specific grade level. Then you can click the add row link to add a new health history record for the currently displayed student, or click the edit link beside the existing health history record to edit. So that's a really good helpful tip. If your school nurse was doing vision screening for all of the second graders and you had a second grader gone that day, the school nurse can just easily narrow that down by grade and select that student who is absent so they can do that one-on-one screening. Click the delete link beside a record to delete an existing health history record for the currently displayed student. Step 3, enter or edit the category, date, grade, field A, B, or comment in the appropriate fields and drop-down lists. Step 4, click the update link beside the record to save the changes, or click the cancel link to discard them. Fun fact, click the checkbox under the flag column to flag health history records that you'd like to review later. Step 4, and this is optional, you can attach a file to a student's health history for further detail. So click on the change file link at the bottom of the page to attach a file. Click the select button to browse for the PDF that you'd like to attach to the student's health history. You can browse to locate the file and click the open button to attach it to that student's record. Helpful tip, if you'd like to remove a file from the student's record, click the change file link and then the no file link to remove it. Step 5, click the print button to print the list of health history records for the currently displayed student. So I can show you how to enter the health history for just a single student. So again, from our JMC home, we come down to health, health history, and this time we're just going to edit student health history. So we're going to find a single student, and like we said, you can limit the students that you're looking at here. And maybe I just want to come back to Katie. She failed, but maybe I thought I'm gonna test one more time and just see how that works. So I find that that fail record. I'm going to edit it. I've got hearing, the date, and then maybe this time we re-administered the test and she passes. I can flag if I want to do an additional screening, or if I want to review this later, I can add any comments that I might need to add. And then to save my changes, I click update. If I wanted to discard them, I would click cancel. Any questions on adding health history for a single student? I don't see any coming in. We will keep moving forward and we'll talk about health notes next. The health note in JMC Office is a free-form text box where healthcare professionals can create custom student health notes regarding a student's health needs. Simply enter specific health-related details for a student to create a note that can be attached to the student's health record. With health notes in JMC Office, you can open lines of communication with all stakeholders that keep your student safe and healthy. So to enter a health note, you head to health note, edit student health note. You select the student from the find field or use your drop-down list to find the right student. Again, you can narrow your students down by grade rather than seeing the whole class or the whole school list. Step 2, enter a new or edit an existing health note in the large freeform text box located under the words last updated to update or record new details for a student. So you have a really large freeform text box here. You see the date that it was last updated, but you just keep adding information to this health note as necessary. And a fun fact here is that student health notes stick with a student from one year to the next once they're saved. So unless they're overwritten or edited or deleted by somebody, they'll stay there and they'll follow that student throughout. So once you have the information that you want, go ahead and hit save to save that health note. Helpful tip, include the health note on reports printed on the health reports print health records page throughout for thorough student health records. And we'll look at those health records toward the end of this presentation as well. All right, so we can show you a live look at the health note, but this one's really straightforward as well. So under health, I'm going to come to health note and edit student health note. I just select the student that I want. And like I said, this is just a free form box. I can type anything I want here. This is a health note. And as soon as I hit save, I see the date that this note was last updated. So if I'm going to make it, put more information in here, I can either put it above or below. That would be up to your health office to decide how you wanted to organize these health notes. And once I hit save, it's the same date. So the date's not going to change, but you do see the last date that this was updated. All right, any questions on a health note? I didn't think so. That one's pretty self-explanatory. The next one that we'll talk about is custom health fields. And these are really powerful kind of questions that you can ask at that registration time that give your health office some good information about incoming students so that you know what to expect on those first days of school. You can streamline the process of gathering important health-related information by utilizing custom health field questions. Creating these questions in JMC office allows families to easily provide necessary health information such as current medications, allergies, and more through free text, medication tables, or allergy tables in JMC Family. These responses are then compiled and organized in the health module of JMC office for future reference, providing a convenient and comprehensive resource for your school's health needs. So to create custom health fields, you go to health custom fields, define health fields. So the first step is, again, here you have that import button. So if you've already created those custom health fields, you do not have to recreate them from year to year. Go ahead and click import. All of those previous health questions will come into your current year. Next, you can click the Add Health Custom Field link if you need to add a new health question to add to your online registration. Helpful tip, click the pencil icon to edit an existing health custom field question, or click the trash can icon to delete a question. Step 3, place a check mark in the current year checkbox to activate the question in JMC Family registration for the current year. So if this is a question you want to ask this year, you want to make sure that that box is checked. If there are older questions that maybe don't apply anymore, then you can just remove that checkbox and you'll keep the question, but it won't go on this year's registration. Step 4, enter a question in the name field to define the data you intend to collect during the registration process. Step 5, enter information in the additional information field to provide families with additional instructions related to the health custom field question. Step 6, select an option from the data type drop-down list to specify the type of answer families can submit during the registration process. So the first option there is text. So if you want families to be able to type in an answer to your question, you can select that text option. And then you are given right below here a prompt to indicate the length. So the length in characters, how long can that response be? The next option is numeric. So for numeric answers, you can choose that numeric option, which limits families to submissions of numbers only. The date is for questions requiring a date as an answer. You can choose that option, which provides a calendar icon so that so that families can select a date to answer that question within the registration process. And then you have the medications table. So to gather medication information, you can choose that table option. And then when families get to that question in the registration process, they can enter information in a table. So like the name of the medication, the dose, and that type of information. Allergy tables is the same kind of way. The parent can list the allergy, treatment, what happens as a result of that allergy. And then you have yes or no questions. So with that yes or no option, you have the ability to skip a question. So if the parent answers no, like does your child take any medications at school, they answer no. If the next question is which medications do they take, it gives you the option to skip past that question to the next one that might be relevant to the family. And that's the option, or that's the helpful tip that I was just telling you. They can skip down to the next question in the list. Step 7, select the appropriate radio button to define a permanence option. So if this is a question that you would like answered each year, to renew those answers every year, select that year specific. If it's one that they can answer once and it will stick with the student during the time that they're registered at your school, then you can select that year independent option. Step 8, click the update button to save your question or click the cancel button to discard it. Helpful tip, you can simply drag and drop those health custom field questions to get them in the order that you want them in so that you can select the order in which families answer those questions when they do their online registration. So we can take a live look at entering the custom health fields. All right, so again, from home, we come down to health and our last option here, health custom fields, define health fields. So my questions have already been imported from the prior year. I can add a new question. I can edit an existing question. If I want to add this new question, if it's one that I want to have families answer this year, I can type it in there. I can type in any, whatever it is that I want the families to answer. So I really type in that question here in the name field. We can say, does your student have a primary care provider? This could be a yes or no question. And if it was no, we could skip to the next question, or I could have a follow-up question saying, who is your primary care provider? So any other details that I want in there, permanence, do I want them to answer this every year, or can they answer it once and be done? And then I can go ahead and click update, and my question shows up right here. Are there any questions about defining those health custom fields and having parents answer those medical questions at the registration process? I don't see any questions coming in, so we'll keep on going. And we're moving on to printing health records. JMC's health module is an efficient, comprehensive, and user-friendly platform for managing health records, including immunizations, health notes, medical emergency plans, medications, visit logs, and much more. Its print health records report allows you to sort, print, or export these records effortlessly, catering to a variety of needs such as transferring student health records or providing family health history. With robust data sorting options and the ability to customize the records to be printed or exported, JMC provides a secure, reliable, and versatile solution for maintaining and handling health data. Print or export student health records by logging into JMC Office and heading to Health, Reports, Print Health Records. Step 1, choose the appropriate radio button in the select box to filter which student's health records to print. So by sequential, that's when you sort them by like a to and from student ID number. You would enter those numbers there. Or you can select by random, so choosing one or more students to print their health records, by grade, or by advisor. The next step is to place a check mark or check marks in the appropriate boxes to indicate what health records you want to include on this report. So you can include immunizations, you can include that health history, so those screenings and whatnot that we looked at entering. You can include the health notes, the medical emergency plan, the student's medications, and a visit log of all their visits to the health office. Step 3, click the preview button to view your customized print health records report. And then you can click the print button to print the health report, or you can export it. And again, you have different options here. So you can export it in an immunization grid, in an immunization list, or just export the health history. So we can take a live look at printing health records. Okay, so I'm going to collapse that field. So again, we come to Health, Reports, and then Print Health Records. So we decide how we want to sort our students. So I maybe want to sort by grade. Maybe I want to look at all of my kindergartners. What do I want to include? Maybe I want to include everything. I can preview it, and I get a preview of the information that's here for each of my students. I can print it. I can export it in any of these 3 different ways. Are there any questions about printing health records? All right. Then we're going to wrap up. We're going to finish up with some JMC news and upcoming events. Next week, we have the 2nd installment of our Teacher Summit. We're going to talk about JMC's grading innovation. So this is a great opportunity for any new teachers or even returning teachers who could just maybe use a refresh on that grade book. And if they missed the Teacher Summit #1, no worries. We have a repeat of that webinar on the 29th. And the 3rd and final installment, the new innovation alert, this is good for all teachers. That's also going to be on the 29th as well. We are going to be moving on in our new user series. We're going to talk about the Flex Scheduler. We're going to look at tools that unite an entire school community. So we're going to be looking at some of those new messaging tools that are available. We've got preparing for new family enrollment coming up, and on the 31st, that refresh rollout. So you're going to be looking at the new community messenger in JMC's new look and feel. Moving into September, we're going to talk about two-factor authentication, and in the second week of September, the teacher conference scheduler, teacher preference settings, and then more of those tools that unite your school community. We're going to dig a little deeper into JMC's messaging tools. What's the best way to train your new JMC users? Let JMC training do the heavy lifting for you. This is a great opportunity for those who aren't necessarily new to JMC, but maybe just need a little refresher. So from June until October, we're going to cover JMC foundational skills and demonstrate time-saving tips and tricks. You can sign up today by visiting this article to see the full new user series lineup. We are looking for a few JMC superstars. At almost every school, we find an unofficial JMC go-to person. This is the person colleagues contact if they have a quick question about a module. You may hear them sharing JMC tips and tricks with a colleague over lunch. When a JMC training comes up, they're the ones who are nominated to go. So if you know of anyone, or maybe it's you who would be interested in a part-time client service specialist role, we would love to hear from you. You can submit your resume and cover letter to hr@jmcinc.com. And what I was just talking about, that refresh rollout, introducing JMC's new look and feel. We are going to roll out that community messenger first. With JMC's Community Messenger, you can access your messaging system. The access to your messaging system is expanded to the entire community by allowing anyone who's interested to sign up for communication through text, phone messages, and emails. If you want to learn more, join us for that refresh rollout webinar on August 31st. And if you have a new superintendent, we would love to hear from them. They can join us at our new administrator workshop series and learn new SIS off their summer to-do list. They can sign up today by visiting this article to see the full new administrator workshop series lineup. Another great way to stay up to date on all things JMC is through our social media presence. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn @OnlineJMC, or our blog, jmcinc.com/news. And on behalf of myself and everyone at JMC, thank you for attending this webinar, and thank you so much for using JMC.